What's going on, everybody? BobbyFi and Eric Sheets-Haber. We're going to be talking through this BMW Championship. Only 2 more weeks of golf, so we're going to have to make the most of it. We got some big tournaments out there, and should be a fun one to fire at. So, Sheets, before we get into it, so basically, just so you guys know, I guess I'll just start with that. The top 30 players ranked after the end of this week. We'll move on to next week for the championship. But this is still a 50-person tournament, so everybody's going to be gunning for it, and it's going to be hard to get different. Sheets, any overall thoughts that you want to drop in before we pull up your screen and go tier by tier?
Yeah, first of all, you say only 2 more weeks. Apparently, after the finals, there's 1 week off, and then they're right back.
I thought it was like what is it? But who's right back? What is the thing?
Well, the fortnight or whatever. I mean, whatever. I don't care who's playing.
Interesting. I thought it was all right. Well, that's what I'm saying. All right.
But in any case,
so all I've heard from every single golf podcast and every single thing I've read forever is that this is only 2 more weeks. I think it's those tournaments just don't draw anybody, but that's the thing. Yeah, but we can still play it anyway. Go ahead, Sheets. Sorry.
As long as they're paying money for first, I'm playing
it. There you go.
Okay, so forget the top 30 advance or whatever it is. It's a no-cut event.
Yeah.
And no-cut event means, again, we keep going over this, that it's usually a stars and scrubs build. And the reason for that is because you don't have to worry about getting 4 rounds out of the cheapos. I mean, you're going to get them. So that's why that's the way people play. And as I say every week that we have one of these, yeah, I mean, you could try to argue that, well, if everybody's going to play that way, then you should do something different. But the math is just really brutal, to try to fade like Xander and Schaffel and Scotty, like, for example, if you start by fading those 2 guys, I mean, you're really asking for it, So the other thing is when you look at the sheets and like even all the projections for this week, you're going to see that if you rate guys by point per dollar, it's almost always going to be the cheapos that show up as the best point per dollar plays for the reasons I just kind of mentioned. Is they're going to they're going to get there, whatever that means,
Right.
Because you get a full 4 rounds, and usually the percent chance that you miss the cut is real, and it factors into your projections. But now, that's why point per dollar wise, these guys are all going to look pretty good. And it's probably going to be a battle between which of the 6K guys you play, that kind of get there for you, I suppose.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, it's and I think this will be a little bit of a higher scoring week than last week just from the tournament. So yeah, just going to play. It's a little more gettable this course with a little bit less to worry about, but we'll see. Hasn't always been the case. But. All right, we'll get into the tiers here. We've got now, what do we have? 7 guys over 8K, 7 guys over 10K. So what do you like the most up here, Sheets?
I mean, getting 70% of each of these top 2 guys. I mean, this is the 2 of them have just really distinguished themselves above everybody else with respect to all of their metrics, and it's kind of hard to avoid. As far as other guys, though, once again, I'm getting a bunch of Morikawa. He continues to model well for me, and I continue to keep picking him, and he continues to disappoint. But for now, this is really the 3 guys that I'd get to right away. I mean, you listen, and people are going to do it. People are going to make cases for Rory, like bounce back, bounce back. But that was like an embarrassment last week. You know what I mean? I don't know. Someone else can do it and let them win. I don't know if it's going to be me. Then I have Aberg next. I'm not getting Hideki for some reason this week. I can't imagine why I wouldn't. Just playing freaking great golf. But I'm really at the top 2 guys plus Morikawa.
Yeah, I get it. I am personally like on the I'm okay with I'm not gonna necessarily just plug these guys in and everything. I actually think that there's plenty of chances for somebody else to come out. A little surprised that people aren't getting to Victor. So I guess the ones I'm most overweight versus the field would be Victor and Oberg. I actually think I'm going to have a good amount of Rory too, and I don't think my ownership of those guys will be that much different than Scotty and Xander. Victor, I mean, very, very easily could have won that. Well, very possibly could have won that tournament last week, and I think he's back in form. He's played incredible here in the past. He won it last year, he, you know, coming off of last week, I feel like he's the one I'm going to be the most overweight versus the projected ownership. I right now have Scotty and Xander at 30% each. So look, I might be playing with fire a little bit, but I got to do some things a little bit different. So overweight the Oberg, the Hovland, the Rory. That's sort of the way I'm playing this. Probably a little bit underweight Hideki. I don't know what I'm going to do yet with Morikawa, and that's pretty much that range for me. All right, down in the 9Ks.
Well, unfortunately, you know, like I said, 10Ks and 6Ks is going to be the majority of the builds, it looks like, which, again, you know, it makes these guys down here less popular and you get a lot of leverage. So we may as well talk about them. My favorites from this range, if you want to go this route, are Fleetwood and, again, I guess a certain amount of Cantlay, I suppose. So, yeah, Fleetwood, Cantlay. You're gonna be different playing that way. So that's pretty much all I got over in that range.
Yeah, because I might not have as much Scotty and Xander, and partly just from a game theory perspective, it's so I can play more guys in this range. And I can get a little bit overweight on some of the other guys. The one I'm most overweight here is Wyndham Clark. He's a Colorado kid. He's played at this course plenty of times before. He played terrific last week after the opening, a little bit of a slow start. I'm very high on Wyndham, and I am going to go back to Fleetwood after just sort of like dudding it out after day one. I'm still going to go back to him. Cantlay's the other one I have the highest ownership on here, but I also plan to be double the field on Finau. Everybody else, I'll probably be near the field or under, with the exception of I'm considering Russell Henley, just because of the low ownership, but that's really just about it. All right, down in the 8Ks. Well, we have so many less guys this week. It's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, I mean, you only got 50.
Yeah. It just feels like very, very, very small. But
let's see, who could I dream up here in the 8Ks? All right, so probably going to be not particularly earth-shattering of a take, but Aaron Rye's been playing really well in general, so I like him. And then Shane Lowry's always kind of done me a little dirty. You know, whenever I play him, he doesn't do well. Whenever I don't play him, he does well. But I don't know. I'll take a shot, I suppose. So Aaron Rye and Lowry would be, I guess, my favorites from this range.
Yeah, right now this range appears to be the lowest owned. And I'm kind of not really overweight a whole lot in this range right now, to be honest with you. The one guy who's going to get the lowest ownership is Cam Young. And because of that, I probably will make him the most overweight. I want to try and really highlight getting different this week. Akshay is another one that I could talk myself into getting a little bit overweight on. But yeah, I'm not. This is the range that sort of seemed to be forgotten. And honestly, I'm one of the people kind of forgetting it. So I'm okay with not getting crazy with this range, but I do like the Cam Young at low ownership. Maybe he comes out and does the Sam Burns thing from last week this week. All right, let's do. I guess we just do the 7Ks flat because it's such a small range today. It's a small range this week. God, I feel like these ownerships feel too spread out to me. I don't think it can really be the case, but I'll do it.
No, I don't know. I think that's what people are going to do. I mean, they're going to lock in those top two guys. I mean, one of those top.
Projected ownership on the top on Scheffler and Xander is under 30% of each of them. I think it's going to be higher.
But I think of one of them. I mean, I think one of them is going to be in quite a bunch. Anyway, 7K. We'll do the whole range, I suppose. So, Brian Harmon, 7,200 looks reasonable enough. I have like 15% of that. Davis Thompson looks reasonable enough. Keegan Bradley, Sepp Straka. These are the guys I'm getting the most of with my Sims and all my stuff. So Bradley, Straka, he's later. And Harmon would be the highest owned of them all. But again, I'm going to keep running these things from now until I go to sleep.
Yeah, you named some of the ones, and it's weird, but so I've got the one I'm going to be most heavy on, and again, I was most heavy on everything last week on Showdown. He was the one guy I needed to win the $5, which it looked like it was very much possibly going to happen. I needed him to have a Xander type of day, the Xander type of Sunday, but I'm going to be way overweight on Fitzpatrick. I know he's going to have an injury he's going to deal with in the offseason. He's actually been playing better, and I think he's a guy who's down in the 7Ks who, next year by this time we might be seeing in the 9Ks. I think he's a better golfer than the other guys are. So I have him. I have Harman, like you mentioned. Shorter course makes it better for Harman. Same thing with Straka to some extent. So and then Keegan Bradley. But Keegan Bradley and Fitz are the two I'm the heaviest on at the moment. I'm reserve the right to change my mind, but that's where I'm at this moment right now. I don't mind the Hendrick thing either. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all right. The 6Ks, I really do wish I knew a little better about what the ownership was going to be down here, because people are going to be shuffling these guys. And the guy that I'm seeing as going to be owned like twice as much as not twice as much, but like a good amount is the Greiserman. I have him projected myself at like 19, and some places have him even higher. So I mean, I have to take a look at that, because I don't think you want to play the chalkiest of the guys here. And the other chalky guy that looks like is going to get ownership, at least from me, is, I mean, my ownerships are, I don't know, Zalatoris, is he going to be popular? I guess. Yeah, so I mean, maybe I'm just gonna do what everybody else does, is just kind of shuffle these things. Like I'll just go over the guys I have the most. I mean, like Greiserman, Cole. Cole seems like kind of fishy. I mean, because he was like so good last week that he's like in everybody's freaking radar right now.
But he was actually terrible all week until the Sunday,
I guess.
Yeah.
And then I like Hoagie. He's been kind of off the radar for a while. Cam Davis, we talked about him being a good 4-round guy. Adam Hadwin, Chris Kirk. Those are the guys I have the most of. But I want to suggest, I mean, there's another way to play this. Like, again, you want to talk about different, ways to get different for construction. You could, instead of what most people are going to do, play a billion% of, not a billion%, but a huge amount of like one or two of these studs, and you kind of shuffle the 6Ks. And if you want to take a stand on like one of your favorite 6K guy, it's pretty ballsy to do, but if you get away with it, and then you can get a little different up at the top, and maybe, you get that Rory outlier, you get that Rory performance paired with like a Cantlay or something like that. And then you're only going to get to those types of combinations if you take stands down at the 6K. And you maybe pick your favorite, like Greiserman or Cole or Hoagie, and go like 50% of one of those guys, and just you'll get 4 rounds. You won't be proven wrong for like a while. It's not like you're gonna miss the cut. You're like, oh crap, why'd I do that? I mean, you can always pretend you're live after 2 rounds even. So maybe a guy like, I mean, if you're gonna play the lottery, maybe you play a guy like stupid Cam Davis. You know what I mean? Like you'll get your 4 rounds. If he gets hot and he has a big tournament, then you get all these like super duper low owned combinations of higher priced guys, where I think most people are going to do the opposite and shuffle all these 6Ks and hope they get the right ones and take their stands up at the top. So that's my thought.
I think that's an interesting thought. I actually like that as for this tournament than anyone we've had so far. Obviously 50 players, like you said, you're going to get the 4 rounds. And you never know. You could end up with that plus guy who ends up having a hole-in-one and 3 eagles or something.
Right.
Like you get that weird randomness. I'm going to look. He was horrible. He was the worst golfer, I believe, last week alongside Rory. I am going to go back to Max Homa and think that that's not going to happen again. That he's going to push to try and make this top 30. He's a tough dude. He'll bounce back, in my opinion. He finished, I believe he finished 3rd or 4th here last year. He's 6,400. So he's the one I plan on being the most overweight on. And you kind of have to, if you want to try to, you're going to have to make some uncomfortable plays, and somebody could be broken. It's still golf. You know what I mean? They can find it in one round. So I am going to be over on Homa, and then my sleeper from last week that I had a ton of that almost got me the money, Nick Dunlap. I will be overweight Nick Dunlap again. I think this kid's really, really good, and he's finding himself. And he's played on now like with the toughest players. He played with Scotty, held his own very, very nicely. In a different path, one or two mistakes less, maybe he wins last week. So I like Dunlap. I actually do like Eric Cole quite a bit, and I know he's going to have some ownership, but I'm okay with that. I think this is a good course for him. And other than that, I've got Cam Davis and then Matthew Pavon, which Pavon mostly is just strictly as it relates to him being low owned, and he might end up being the lowest owned player on the slate. So because of that, I want to get overweight him. I really think this week you kind of have to throw some things out and just play some of the low-owned guys to give yourself a chance. And I do not want to eat the Max Grayserman chalk. I believe in his future. I believe the guy's good. He was absolutely dreadful last week until Sunday, where he was awesome, and he barely made it in here. I would rather be underweight plays like that. So that's sort of where I'm at for right now, anyway. And I don't know why I'm doing it to myself, but look, I'm having a hard time with I'm trying to get lower on Scotty and Xander, and it just doesn't feel like the smarter thing to do. But I don't know what to tell you. I just feel like it's so hard to just play the mega chalk and have the same builds as everyone else and have a chance to win. So,
well, one of the things, by the way, I mean, you could make this argument. I don't know what they pay for first in this not DFS wise, but as far as the purse money goes in this thing. But I think you could argue that both these guys are looking ahead towards the finals, you know?
Yeah.
And the other thing I would mention is that, listen, Scheffler's had kind of like a legacy season, if you want to, you know what I mean? Like he's only Tiger has had a bigger edge over the field and all the strokes gained stuff than Scheffler did this year, until recently, where Xander might have almost caught him. But one thing about Scheffler, though, I mean, I happened to notice it last week in a tournament that really didn't matter too much. It seems he was kind of on tilt.
He was fired up. He was, for sure. He was.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the Scotty I want to play. You know, like
I do want to play him for that reason. I kind of.
I don't know. I mean, I like the Scotty that's like DJ, the guy that doesn't even know where he is, and then he just wins the tournament. You know.
Yeah. I just thought I thought the fact that he was so frustrated because he probably had like 20 makeable putts throughout the course of the week that were literally looked like they were going in that didn't go in, and he still almost won the tournament. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm starting to talk myself into maybe just having Scotty ahead of Xander, but even that is, I don't know. I just feel like you're supposed to try to do something a little bit different this week.
No, I don't doubt it.
You know, just from a game theory, not from who's the best. So with that said, Sheets, these are going to be the guys I'm most overweight on. So let's play our game. And I also would remind people, I think it is important to take more stands this week. I don't think you want to be spread out and necessarily have like 30% as your highest owned golfers. You only have 50 players to choose from. So I would suggest that you guys, you know, just keep that in mind and take a harder stance on some of the guys who are your favorite. Okay, so who is going to win this tournament, Sheets?
I'm going to say the guy whenever I pick every week. Colin Morikawa.
Oh, you got Maury again. Boy, I have a really hard time with this one. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and just do the wrong thing. You know what? All right, I'm gonna say Scotty. Ugh. Can't believe I picked him.
Why? He's gonna win.
I know, probably. I just wanted to do something a little different and take Hovland, but didn't.
All right, under 10K to make top 5.
All right, under 10K to make top 5. I'm going to go with Wyndham Clark.
I think Horschel's an atrocious play at that price, by the way.
He's been good,
I guess. I'll go with your dude. I'll go with Fleetwood.
Let's go. Thank goodness, because I was gonna have to overweight my ownership based on the show.
No, I'll go with Fleetwood.
All right, I like it. All right, under 9K to top 10.
Yeah, I'm going to steal one of yours. I'm going to say Cameron Young.
Oh, nice. Okay, that was who I was going to say. Now I am going to go to a different tier to do it. I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
All right, under 8K to make top 20.
Under 8K to top 20 was going to be my Fitzpatrick. I'm going to say Brian Harmon.
I like that. And I will dip below and go with Will Zalatoris.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is have this under 7K to make the top 30. You know what I mean? To make it into the next day.
To make it to, yeah, exactly, to advance. Okay.
That's like the cut, you know?
Yeah, some of these guys are going to advance anyway because, yeah, okay. That works. All right, so I'm looking at my ownerships here. I am going to say, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Max Homa. Probably not that everybody's going to make fun of me for it, but that's what I'm doing.
Then I'll go. Yeah, that was a kind of a weird way I phrased it because what I meant was like kind of top 30 in the tournament, but not 30. Right. I mean, like you said, some of these guys might already be locked in. I don't know that, so that was pretty bad by me. But I'll go with kind of like the Homa thing. I'll go with Tom Hoagie.
Okay, so Hoagie it is. That's good. I'll get some.
And who is going to be? How about this? The worst performer over 9K. How about that?
The worst performer over 9K.
Fantasy point production of over 9K.
Well, I know who you. I think I'm gonna take you the guy you wanted. I'm gonna take Horschel.
Yeah, I like that. I will go with. See, I can never pick like Aberg to be the worst of anything. You know what I mean? Like he'll be fine.
Right.
I'll go with Finau.
All right. So Finau.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So there you have it. Hopefully we have a fun sweat. I'm sure there'll be some showdown business over the weekend. I'll post up whatever I'm doing. So I've done well in the week long, the weekly ones, but I haven't done as well in the showdowns lately. So I'm hoping to turn that around this week. But maybe don't tail me. Maybe fade the guys who I'm heavy on in the showdown.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck, everybody. Hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you guys live at 6 if you're watching this on Wednesday, and otherwise.